Hello everybody and welcome to today's video where we're going to be recapping a in-person session I did with one of our athletes, John, who came all the way over from Australia. Well, he was actually visiting his family, didn't come all the way just for us, but yeah, he was in the UK and we did a little session. I'm going to be breaking down what we worked on as a recap for John, but then also hopefully in a way that you can learn. What we worked on was a lot of control and front end placement and then the drive from there. But the big, if you're somebody that struggles to have control and be patient at the catch, this should be a good video for you. We'll be breaking down kind of everything that we did to improve those areas. So first thing was just addressing John's tendency to kind of lunge and attack going into the catch. And the problem that people often face is that because they are in this compressed position here, it's uncomfortable, the boat's unstable, and people don't like it. So they like to get in and get out quick. And a lot of the time people get confused with the idea of what a quick catch is. And a quick catch is about timing it well. It's not about being fast in, and it's not about being fast to get there. It's not about being fast to raise the blade. So a few things that John was doing that we worked on is, as he came through, his finish position was pretty good, nice and loose here. And if we look at the kind of shoulders position, the shoulder position here, nice and low and loose. And as he would come forward, well, one, he would tense up. So you could see the kind of shoulders start to get a bit closer to the ears. And then also he would kind of dip down with the chest. And that meant the hands went down, and that meant the blade went up, which meant he just missed the catch a little bit. So we'll be breaking down what we did. So the first thing that can really help with control is getting a bit of pressure onto the foot plate when you rock forward. So when you go from leaning back to leaning forward, you can keep your weight on the seat, or you can bring your weight onto the foot plate. And when you do that, it just gives you something to brace against. So what we were doing here with John was when he would rock forward, we would practice just pausing here, kind of resetting and making sure that he took his upper body weight and he brought that onto the foot plate. So he basically just had a bit of downward pressure on the foot plate when he had rocked over. And when he did that, the idea is that as you slide away, you keep that downward pressure there on the feet as you move forward. I think we're just kind of like resetting and playing around with it a little bit there. Pause, weight on the feet, go forward and try and keep that control. So that was step one. It's just getting the idea of being a little bit more, having a bit more weight on the foot plate. But still, you can see there was that tendency to kind of like almost dive into that catch. And a lot of this stuff is just a habit, but he was getting better as he got forward, a bit more loose, but still that kind of tendency to lunge a little bit and dip and almost like look for more length as well. But again, working on getting weight onto the foot plate is one of the good first steps. So one drill we really like to give people is kind of a drill we kind of made up actually. If you've done it before, I don't know, maybe you have. We call it ghost rowing. So it's basically just sitting at the rockover position, practice sliding forward and then sliding back. And a lot of the time people are rushed or they're tense going into the catch because they're thinking about working hard. They're thinking about being aggressive. So if you can just take away that work, if you can take away that catch, it can just help you think about slide in and slide out. So here you can still see John even was a little bit too rushed as he did this, but it's something that we did slow down. So you can see slow in, pause, slow out. You just really, so you can do this on the erg. You can do this, when you do it on the erg, you can just do it with no handle and just have your arms extended. This is, if you're going to do this in the single and you struggle with balance, you can keep your blades just on the water. But if you're in a crew boat like a double, you can get the other person to hold the balance while you just kind of play around with it. And as you do this, you just want to imagine yourself staying still, staying loose with your shoulders, staying relaxed. And just as we're doing this drill here, you can see, I was seeing some strokes. John, it was almost like the opposite. Like he would start tense, and then as he went, he would relax a little bit there. And you can see that kind of shoulders, interestingly, that shoulders drop and you realize, okay, actually I'm not looking for any work here. I can just chill and relax. And a big part of rowing is just getting really comfortable in this position here. So what we want is he had the relaxation before, and now he has it here when we do this drill. We just want to make sure that we have it when we go into normal rowing. So all we were doing is just getting reps and reps of this. And as we do this, you want to imagine this feeling and you want to think about bringing this feeling into normal rowing. From there, we just started to do a little bit work of doing an actual roll up. So roll up is just where you roll forward, take the catch and reset. Again, you can still see that tension there. It's getting better. When you do this drill, there's no reason to be tense as well. You can be loose the whole way. But again, getting loose where it matters, really getting relaxed there. To keep things slow and controlled, we basically just did some super slow paused rowing, one stroke at a time, really trying to bring in that control as we start to move. So what we also did was really take away the pressure and stop trying to think about working the boat and literally just put the blade in and barely move through the water, doing very little work. And if you're trying to work hard and go fast when you make these changes, it's going to be really hard for you. So again, just seeing there, that was a really good one. That was a good example of an approach there that John did. Slow and controlled there, much more patience. We kind of want to look for spending a bit more time just at that front and not rushing in there. So that was good. The placement could have been better, but the arrival was much better. You could just see much more controlled in that front part of the stroke. Again, we started with the ghost rowing, and then we started with just the roll-ups, and now we're just doing some pausing and really exaggerating how light. So we're basically just doing light rowing while emphasizing how slow and controlled we can be. So you can see here, starting to pick it up slowly, just a much better rhythm going into the catch. And look, the reason you don't want to go rushed into the catch is because it's just much harder to get connected. And if you go in fast, you have to stop quickly, and stopping quickly like that really just kicks on the stern. You want to be really, really gentle going into the front because the boat's at its slowest right before you put the blades in, and that's what really disrupts the run of the boat here. So this is a good breakthrough here for John, just really starting to notice the change. Again, what could be better would be the relaxation, still looking very tense when we're doing this. You can see tension coming in, but it was all coming. Now, normally what happens when you start to get the hang of this, the boat starts to go faster, it all feels better, and then you let the boat take control and you start to go with the boat rather than telling the boat what to do. And when I joined in here, the boat started moving quicker, and John just had a bit more tendency to kind of like start to rush a little bit here. So while we had been getting a little bit better, then as soon as the boat started to move quicker, you kind of get a bit excited, and it's hard. You need to stay controlled to not rush that front end of the stroke. As you feel it start to speed up, you need to keep the same rhythm at the front. We can see here is towards the end, I do think we were getting better length and a better position at the catch here, looking more loose at the catch for sure, longer, sitting up better. Something else we tried was pushaways. So again, you can do this in a single, you can do it in a crew boat with the other person holding the balance. Keep the blades squared and buried, and you basically push away, stop, feel the connection in your lats and your glutes, stay loose, and then push. And it's really good for connection on the drive, but it's also good for this idea of you do not need to be rushed to get on the work. You don't need to drive hard. And you can see here why I like it is if we slow it down frame by frame, if you just imagine the way John's moving here, slow, like if you could do this on the drive, that would be good. And you kind of almost, when you're getting connected and locking the blade in, you kind of almost want this like brief pause where that spoon's just getting filled in there, and then you feel that load, and then you drive from there. So we ran through this drill a few times. Trying to keep the blade in, that was one thing. You just needed to keep the hands a little higher. Squared and buried, push away, keep the shoulders loose, feel the load there, then drive and press all the way through. And this was something I think that really helped his rowing as we went down. You can just see much more patience on the front there. Much more calmness. Here, there's less of a kind of jump in. We're going back to some of those checkpoints. Weight on the foot plate. Staying still going into the front. Think about that patience and that load at the front of the stroke. That was a really good one there. Yeah, much better there. I think we really had it here in these first kind of 10, 20 strokes. As we went on, I think we lost it a little bit. In terms of stuff to work on next, though, for John, I'm sure you'll be watching this, is to, I think your hand height is actually pretty good as you come forward, but that last section there, you really do, to square the blade, you really do dip the hands down low, and then the blade goes up high. And what we'd say is, I still think your hand height's pretty good, but maybe we'd want to keep it, you know, if you're here and there, we'd maybe want you there and there. And that would just allow you to keep the hands a little lower, square on the way going forward, and then raise up. But right now, you're just having to go down and then up. If we keep you low as you go forward, and then you can just lift straight up rather than this dip, I think that would also help with the catch. But obviously, working on one thing at a time, I think that'd be hard to work on if we weren't focusing on getting the control right here. But not to be cocky or anything, but just looking at the comparison to my blades, you can see, John, like looking at the right blade here, you know, the height that you have to go. You're giving yourself a lot of work here, a lot more distance to travel with the spoon to get it closer to the water. And then for me, you can just see spoon is much closer to the water there. Less distance to travel. Easy, especially that left one, you can really see. That's a big example there. The height difference of this spoon to that one. So some other homework for you to work on, but good work on the control so far. Again, when we slow it down and the boat's moving a little bit quicker, your control is just so much better. So that's one thing, you have the ability to do this. You just need to keep that control, that idea of being in control of the boat as you're rowing. Don't be in a rush. Don't be looking for work or anything like that. Like, take your time, find connection. The work will come. Steve Gladstone says, beware of the oarsman that looks for work, for they shall find it. So I thought that's quite a good quote. But here, just slowing things down really, really was working well for you. Now, what I also wanted you to work on, this was more homework and less to work on today, was just the idea of getting backsplash with the spoon as you place it. So as we discussed, you know, a straight up and down lift with water running underneath it will result in backsplash. So you kind of want to look for that backsplash as you're lifting. But a good exercise to try this is just standing by the pontoon, holding the oar like that. You're kind of almost like looking for that feeling of backsplash when you're out of the boat, because it then becomes much easier to get it when you go into the boat. So a good chance to exaggerate. Anytime you're spinning the boat as well, this is a good time to try it. But I'm trying to remember if yeah. So another drill I liked for you that I think really helped with your relaxation was just this idea of being light on the handles and pivoting from the shoulders as you do it. So when we put the blade in, all we want to do is think about taking your weight off the handle. And then when your fingers go back around the handle, it's still the same idea. You still want to look for the same sound. You still want to look for the same feeling. You're just being more loose as you do it. And this drill here, just sat still, practicing tapping, feeling the oar is a really good one. And then the kind of next step to it is bringing your fingers back around and trying to have the same feeling of relaxation, of letting the blade drop in. And then when the boat starts to move, you want this motion here that you're doing. You want that same looseness of just letting the blade drop in. Now, this is a really good one to do after you've done work, forcing that backsplash and looking for that backsplash, because in order to normally get backsplash, you need to be a bit deliberate, mechanical, forced with it and it can feel a bit clunky. But once you get that feeling of backsplash, you can then bring in this looseness and this relaxation that you can demonstrate doing this drill. So it'll also really help with that lunging and avoiding that rush going into the catch. So again, just rowing off here, I think just really bringing on board that nice relaxation and that calmness, getting much better connection. I think because you're also more loose at the front, your catches are much closer to the water if we compare to before there. Just because I think without even really thinking about it too much, just being more loose and more calm means that your hands are just a little higher because you're not forcing them down. You're not rushing in and then lunging down with your chest, which forces your hands down, which forces the blade up. Just really those things of rocking onto the foot plate, staying controlled, not being in a rush to look for work, not trying to work too hard, letting the blade drop in, being patient, they all just contribute to a much better front end here. So I can see it. You're always best at it when we go off, when the boat's a little bit slower. And that was a really good catch there, John, just in comparison to what you were doing before. Much better, much more direct lift there with that left and right blade. Really good. But yeah, just to be conscious, as the thing is, this stuff is going to make you faster, and then the boat's going to run quicker, and it's going to want to start pushing you around. You need to stay in control as you make these improvements. So yeah, anyways, John, lots of homework to work on here. I'll attach the erg training that we did as well, and for anybody watching, this will be good input, but a lot of homework, John, here for you to work on for the next few months. And keep sending us the footage so we can track the progress on it. But yeah, I'll edit on the training erg I did with John. Anybody watching, and yeah, if you like this kind of content, everybody, let me know. I can maybe ask to share more of these with our athletes that come up and visit with us, and when we go on camps and stuff. Around the catch.
Yep.
So if you sit compressed at the catch position, come forward, shoes on. So you sit like that, and if you're just sitting in this position, chest up a little bit,
yep.
You get that up, and then shoulders down. Yeah, down even more. So actually, put the hand down.
Yep.
So sit with your arms down by your side, relax, and then get your other hand and touch your opposite shoulder and your trap, and see how loose you can feel it, and feel the muscle relax. You feel that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So when you do that, keep your hold on.
Yes, sir.
Keep your hand there.
Yeah.
And then keep that relaxation, and try and bring that hand up without that trap kicking in.
Yeah.
Can you feel that trap wanting to kick in?
Yeah.
So just try and reset there. Relax a little bit. Practice just relaxing more, yeah. Okay, now grab the handle. And sitting here, just try and get that same relaxation. Drop them down more, chest up more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, cool. Okay, now, what I want you to do is I'm just going to hold the handle. And I want you to squeeze your lats and squeeze your glutes, and then just push into the handle a little bit. Do you feel that in your lats and in your glutes?
I do, yeah.
Yeah? Cool. And then reset, stop. And then again, relax, loosen off, squeeze the lats, squeeze the glutes, push. Do you feel that difference there?
Yeah.
Hanging through the lats there rather than hanging through the traps. When you kick this in, all your force goes up here and it stops. Yeah. When you go loose, you get into your lats, you get into your hips, and it's so much better to push.
Yeah, nice.
So when I bump the drag up high, just try rowing with that same idea of pushing the glutes, squeezing the glutes, and squeezing the lats. Yeah, that was better. Loosen the shoulders, feeling that load pushing through the lower back. Yeah. Keep your shoulders loose the whole way as well. That looks open. Does that feel any different?
It does, yeah. Yeah.
It's really good. I can see you load much better through the trunk. Keep those shoulders down. They're going to want to keep going up. Just keep like resetting that relaxation.
Chest up, shoulders down.
Yeah. Try and get that blown over as well. You kind of want, even when you're rocked over, you still want that chest up. Yeah. Yeah, good. Same on the erg as well. You're not looking for a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're just looking for a bit of a squeeze. Squeeze. It's loose. It's just a step out. You're not looking to break it there. You're not going to win the race at the front part of the catch. Okay. Yeah, easy then. Cool. Yeah, so how did that feel?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, what felt different?
Well, just what I'm used to doing is again being quite forceful here. So yeah, just relaxing the shoulders. You can see it straight away. It's feeling it more here, but also the whole chest up piece as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which might also help with the handle height, you know.
Yeah, if your hands are higher, yeah. If your chest is higher,
Yeah.
your hands are higher,
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And I think you need thicker seat pads as well.
Yeah.
Cool.